It has been started. For those of you who are here, if you have to leave or need to go back and look back at this, know that you will get an email probably later this week, early next week, with information as well as a link to our YouTube page and recordings. So thank you for joining us today using an iPhone with eye tracking communication device. Today is February 11th. You are here for our biggest bridging voice training thus far, with over 300 people signed up, and 100 of you are here, and maybe some of you will be joining later. We'll see. All right, next slide. Malcolm, do you want to switch our slides?
Sorry, I wasn't.
All right. So, since there are many new individuals here, I want to just take a quick moment to share about who we are. We are a very small but very mighty team. There are 12 of us total, which is pretty exciting. We have 6 SLPs, 1 OT, 2 computer programmers, and actually, I need to add a third computer programmer to that as well as our amazing leader, Karina, who we were speaking to earlier. This is one of the most exciting things. So you guys thought that you were here for iPhone mirroring, but what you were really here for were the fact that we have hit all 50 states. We've been wanting that for so long, and that's the real excitement of today, as well as over 24 countries. What do? We provide customization, innovations, mentorship, and education. And I think you're going to see all of that on Showcase today about what we can do. The most important thing I need you to know is that our services are always free, which is the most important thing. All right, next slide. And this is where I hand it over to Nachum. Before I hand it over, I want to say a couple of things. If you have questions, you are welcome to put them into the chat. And our team members will kind of be monitoring that and answering. If they're more in depth, we might save them until the end of the session. We will be having some Q&A at the very end of our session. Also, if you are a professional and you would like a professional development certificate, you need to stay all the way to the end, and then I will provide you with the attendance attestation. All right, take it away, Nachum.
Okay, thank you. Very, very exciting to be here today, because this is a very important and impactful innovation coming out of Bridging Voice. So we really want to get this right, and we want everyone to understand what this is all about, how it's being deployed, and what support and what everyone can expect from Bridging Voice and others. So we'll start with that. Smartphones are central to communication and access. Many clients have been using their iPhones for years, and some may even be addicted to them. That's a smiley face because we know lots of people are addicted to their smartphones. Especially, iPhones have a big market share out there. Now, ALS patients commonly use their iPhones to assist with access communication throughout their journey. Someone who's diagnosed may start using assistive touch. They may start using a head mouse. There are so many ways to use an iPhone throughout the ALS journey, and it's like it becomes more and more useful throughout that period of time. But what happens is, one second, there we go. When ALS patients are transitioning to, let's say, eye tracking, specifically to PC-based eye trackers, they lose most of the access to their iPhone. And, they may be able to send some texts, receive text messages, they may be able to make a phone call, but still, the ability to connect an iPhone to one of the PC-based eye trackers is extremely limited. The solutions, we're going to talk a little bit about it later on, but iOS-based eye trackers are a solution for some ALS patients. If someone gets an eye tracking device that is based on an iPad and the iOS operating system, then they may be able to continue using their iPhone and all of the apps, but there are limitations there. Someone has to have the right accuracy in order to be able to get that device. Um, we it's a big discussion. I'm not going to go into it now, but it's a solution for some, but not for most. Sorry, every time I go to the next slide, it's taking a little bit of time. I'm not sure why. There we go. Now, if you're an SLP, we have a lot of SLPs on this call. We have a lot of sales reps on this call. When you're evaluating someone for an eye tracking device, very often towards the end of the conversation, the ALS patient will ask, "Oh, and how will I be able to use my iPhone?" And most of the time, your answer is going to be something like, you're really not going to be able to use your iPhone the way you've been using it until now. And that's what we're hoping to change with today's training and the release of this iPhone mirroring. The only options until now have really only been for people to use their eye trackers to control their iOS devices by voice control, which has worked for some ALS patients. There are limitations to that as well. If someone wants to use it to type private messages, it's kind of hard to do that when they have to speak everything out loud in order for it to go to the iPhone. Or the other option has been to fund or purchase an iOS-based communication device or eye tracking device. And both of these, again, were limited solutions. When an eye tracking device, a PC-based eye tracking device, so generally going to lose access to group messaging, home automation. Like, you can send text messages with all the PC-based devices, but if you've got those family groups, that group messaging is usually lost. There are some workarounds, nothing great. Home automation, smart TV control, FaceTime and video conferencing tools, secure email. We have had many clients whose businesses required an iPhone in order for them to receive the emails from that business, because the security of the iPhone is at the level required by a lot of law firms. And if someone loses access to their iPhone, they've really lost access to their email entirely. Games. A lot of people want to continue playing the games they're used to on their iPhones. Social media apps, banking apps, and video platforms like Netflix. A lot of these apps just make life easier, give people a one-stop access to many of the things they enjoy and want to be occupied with. So losing access to the iPhone is terrible. So I'm just going to explain really quickly what is mirroring and what about Androids, because we're only talking about iPhones today. Mirroring really includes two different things. Mirroring means that your iPhone, which is sitting next to you, will be mirrored on your screen of your eye tracking device. It's just like you see in this picture, a picture of a PC, and you see the mirrored Android on the screen. But the more important part of mirroring is controlling that phone from your eye tracking device. With Androids, this has been possible for decades already, where you were able to mirror your Android device using programs like Visor. Tobii Dynavox includes one with their eye tracker. You've been able to mirror these Androids to your eye tracker, and you've been able to use any method of Windows control to actually control the phone that's now showing on your screen. So Androids have never been a problem, but that's because Androids allow us to put them into a less secure state, which allows us to control them from the PC. iPhones do not allow that sort of insecure state on the iPhone system. So let's just go through really quickly what we've done, how long this has taken, and then we'll do some demoing. The development of the iPhone mirroring has taken Bridging Voice over 2 years, and we'd like to take this opportunity to give a big thanks to one of our team, Bob Paradiso from our tech team, who is, I think he's on this call. I think I saw him before. Bob has worked tirelessly to get this done, and I think every one of us on this call should be thankful that Bob does not work for a rogue government somewhere on planet Earth, because we'd all be in trouble. We'd also like to thank Will Wade from ACE Center in the UK for the head start, because he actually started, he was really the inspiration for this, and he had started a lot of the programming. We went a lot further than Will expected, and so we do owe him some thanks for getting us started on this one. We do have, this isn't something that we're releasing without testing. We have 40 clients who are using it already. Every single one of our team has already installed it and set it up for multiple clients. And people are thankfully addicted to their iPhones again, using their eye trackers to control it. It works with iPhones as far back as iPhone 8, and it works with the newest available models. We know that it works on all of the latest iOS versions. We've kept the software interface and use as simple as we could, but we've also added in many advanced features to deliver the functionality required by eye tracking users. We're going to get into a little bit of it today, but we want this training to be really simple, just to let everyone know what this is, what's available, and how we're going to deploy. It can be used, though, to whatever level you feel comfortable with. So if someone just wants to go and use their iPhone in the most simple fashion, they'll be able to do that very easily, as long as they can use some version of Windows Control, which we'll talk about now. So the iPhone mirroring works on any PC-based eye tracking device. So we have it working on Tobii Dynavox iSeries devices, on SmartBox and Talk to Me Technologies devices, the GridPads, the Zuvo devices, works on iGaze Edge, PRC Accent, Control by NX Trilogy, and it can be used with any method of controlling Windows that someone may be using. So if someone is now able to use Windows Control to browse Chrome, use Chrome, the Chrome browser, and browse around and buy things on Amazon, then they will be able to use their iPhone without any issues at all. It works with TD Control from Tobii, works with Communicator 5 Windows Access, classic Windows Control, even from the i15 days. It works in Grid 3 Computer Control, Microsoft iControl, and PRC's internal computer control. And if you find one that it doesn't work in, we're pretty confident that we'll be able to get that to work without too much programming. Now I'm just going to show you a really quick video of what this looks like, how it's used. And everyone, you could save your, we're going to have a nice long question and answer period. So anything that you don't understand or you want to clarify, save it up. We're going to be, we'll have plenty of discussion time. But this is how it works. The first thing we're showing is using TD Control on a Tobii. Doing a new email. You can open up the keyboard and you'll get the TD Control keyboard, and you can type right into your iPhone using TD Control. And here's the same thing happening in Grid 3. using the toolbar of computer control to choose a left click, and then zooming in to click on stocks. It clicks it, opens up the app. Now, obviously, we could have made these videos longer, to show better how you can use this, but it was completely unnecessary. It's just giving complete control back to you to use your iPhone through any method of Windows control available in your eye tracking device. So what do we need to set this up? Now, we're actually working on making it even simpler, but it's not too complicated even now. The real main piece that makes this possible is this, on the left side, this picture of this $15 dongle that is available from Adafruit, which we're going to be putting at the link to be able to purchase this and a guide to what you need to purchase. You need to get this dongle. This dongle is what plugs into your eye tracking device, and that is what gives us external keyboard and mouse access to the iPhone. You also need an iPhone data cable, which will be plugged in between your device, your eye tracking device, and the iPhone. It's extremely recommended to have a motorcycle mount, which would hold your iPhone right next to your eye tracking device. And this will enable you to do FaceTime calls so that your camera of your iPhone is facing you, so you'll be able to initiate your FaceTime calls through your eye tracking device, and you'll be able to be on the FaceTime call through your phone. So the motorcycle mount is very, very highly recommended. It's, aside from FaceTime calls, it also helps you to be able to start the iPhone mirroring program on the phone. We'll talk about that later. You may also need a USB hub, because since you're going to be plugging in the iPhone cable and this USB dongle into your eye tracking device, you're going to need 2 available USB ports. So if you don't have 2 USB ports available, or if the ports that are available on your device are a different USB version, like maybe you have C ports, but the dongle requires a USB-A port, then you'll need a USB hub just to replicate some ports. It's also, the motorcycle mount is also a $15 to $20 purchase, and the USB hub is usually around the same thing. The things that and then you need your Apple ID, because you're going to need to install Visor in order to use this solution. We'll talk about in a second my next steps, what you absolutely need to get started. So this is important. Bridging Voice works with ALS patients. At the same time, we understand that we're making something here that can be used by people across the globe with CP and other disabilities, and this would just give them tremendous access to an iPhone. So when it comes to ALS patients, we are providing, as always, free full support with installation, setup, and training. So if anyone, and we'll talk about how you get to us if you're an ALS patient. For non-ALS patients, we are going to make our software download free on our website. Instructions, detailed instructions and guides will be on our website, and there will be free access to documents to guide you to success. Based on what we've seen so far and the success of installation, and relative to how many issues we've seen, it's extremely likely that you'll need 1 or 2 times to be able to maybe practice installing it if you're a sales rep or you're an SLP. But once you do it once or twice, it'll be simple. And we're going to provide enough documentation to make this possible for everyone to access. For everyone, you will be able to report any issues. We obviously will try to fix any issues that pertain to the clientele we're dealing with. And you will all have access to free future updates on our website. Next steps. So this is a heavy lift for Bridging Voice. It is our biggest deployment. So, and because of that, we're trying to make sure we do this, we get this right, and we make this as easy as possible for you, which makes it as easy as possible for us. So if you have an ALS client and you want them to get iPhone mirroring, all you're going to have to do is send them the purchase guide, which you will have a link to it in our chat. They will have to purchase a dongle, and you'll have to confirm with them that they have an iPhone data cable. Once they have those two pieces, they can schedule a session with us. Would be really great if you made sure they had all the motorcycle mount, make sure that they've got the right ports on their device and their Apple ID is ready. But like without the dongle, we can't start. Absolutely can't start. So make sure that they have that before they schedule a session. And I guess that's a double. Do not schedule before having the dongle and data cable. That's just a double there to make sure everybody hears that. The current steps. We will be starting iPhone mirroring setups with individuals who have ALS immediately. We've already been doing it for the last 6 months to a year. We have, of those 40 clients, many of them are using it close to a year already. So we're already starting that. So you can schedule a session with us after you have the dongle and data cable, and we will schedule a session and set up the iPhone mirroring, and you can get started immediately. If you are not a Bridging Voice client yet, and you do have ALS, so please email us at info@bridgingvoice.org. We'll take, and then we'll schedule a session with you. If you would like to set up iPhone mirroring for other users, please email us, as we are having a special training next Tuesday for our referral partners. So anyone, whether you're a sales rep for a company or you're a speech pathologist, an AT professional, if you want to know how to do this, next week we're actually going to have a training, same day, same time, I think, and that will be to go through the steps of setting this up. It takes 10 minutes once you know how to do it. It will take an entire hour to learn those steps, but we will have really, really clear. And so far, it's been going well. If you do not have ALS and you're interested in iPhone mirroring, so just hold tight. I would say within the next, I'm just going to throw out, I would say the word 2 weeks. In the next 2 weeks or so, we're going to be updating our website and all of the downloads and guides and FAQs all in place so that you'll be able to do this by yourself or with the help of anyone with a little bit of tech knowledge. It's not going to be so difficult. I'm just giving a lot of warnings just because it's, there are multiple parts. There's the dongle, there's some software installation, and we just want to make sure everyone understands it's not just a 1-minute install and you're up and running. It takes a little more than that. And we are working already on the next version, which is going to be even easier to install. So the next steps, website build out with everything you need to be successful is going to be at bridgingvoice.org/iOS mirroring. So if you want to check there over the next week or two, that will be up and running soon. You'll have there the general info, download and installation, how to use guide, FAQs, tips and tricks, and troubleshooting guides. And thank you. Questions and a Q&A will be in a minute. and now I'll just hand it back to Trinity just to do the final stuff.
Did you want to do any demos?
I will do that afterwards, part of Q&A if we need to.
Okay, perfect. All right. Okay. Thank you all. And for those of you who joined late, we are sorry. There is only 100 spots available, and this is our first time we've actually run over those 100 spots. So I apologize for that. Um, Someone had a question really quick that I'm going to answer, which is how do we register for the session next week? Nakam, would you like to quickly state that before I go forward?
You just email us at info. You'll have that email in the chat, info@bridgingvoice.org, and then you'll get a link to that training.
Yes, but I want to be very clear. This is not going to be for end users. We're not going to be doing end user training. So
That's spelled
this
wrong.
is,
That's spelled wrong. Just please, so that people get it right.
oh, sorry. I was trying to type and top at the same time. There we go. Our training next week will be for professionals and people who are assisting multiple clients with getting this set up. This will not be for end users. I want to make sure to be very clear about that. Um, that being said, I'm going to pause on, Malcolm, you need to go back to slides.
No, I know. I got messed up on it somehow. Go ahead.
Got it. No problem. All right. So I'm going to ignore the chat for just a minute, and I'm going to come back and follow through on a few things. So I would like everyone to know that we have open office hours every Tuesday, 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern Time. This is a QR code. I also will drop the link in the chat for our open office hours. Give me just a second to do that. So we always look forward. You are welcome to come and stay for the for the whole hour. You're welcome to come and go and ask your question. We have a ton of amazing users. Some of them happen to actually be here today that answer questions and share a little bit about themselves. Upcoming trainings. Um, Upcoming trainings, very important. I would like you guys to know. Um, Going forward, you will see the training that Nahum referred to, which is our partner training about how to set up and program, is not included in this. But these are trainings that are open to everyone. These include on March 11th, Abby and I were honored enough to give a presentation at ATIA about customizations after eye health changes. We have a very special training coming in March. It's actually going to be twice. Same training 2 times so that we can get our global partners. This is going to be about 11 labs and hands-on practical skills and step-by-step from start to finish, including integration into communication software. We are so lucky to be joined by Richard Cave and the MND Association for that one. That being said, that will be on March 16th. And then on April 22nd, uh, Kat and Eddie, two of our team members, are going to be giving a training on alternative access to Android for communication. As always, we have our trainings, including this one, will be available on our YouTube channel. Give me just a second and I will drop that here. We would love to have you follow us and like and subscribe, all of that good stuff over on our YouTube channel so you can see everything that we've done in the past as well as going forward. At the end of the week, you will receive an email that's just kind of an after visit from this. It will include the links we talked about today. It will also include the what you need to purchase and get ready for meetings or to set up this. And also, you also find a link to this training. If you got to come in late, it will be there. The attestation form, I'm going to hold on to that for just a little bit because we're going to do Q&A and then Nakam's going to do some demo. So I will be giving that out closer to the top of the hour since it is hour for that. You will notice that to be in the chat. I'll drop that there and I'll also bring it to everyone's attention. So Nachum, you can take over and we have some questions for you already. So I'm going to start working through the questions. Is there a rep for each state? Is the question.
There a what?
A rep that's going to be setting this up and representing this and helping people.
Well, not dedicated to each state. It's just going to be our team, whoever is assigned that particular client, right? Did
So
I?
I'll jump in on this one, Nachum, for clarity on this. Bridging Voice, as Trinity mentioned at the top of the hour, is a small but mighty team. We have about 8 people on our care team. And so Bridging Voice will be setting this up for any Bridging Voice ALS clients. And we work remotely, so it's not state-based. We work with people across the United States. So if you're an ALS client of Bridging Voice, you just need to reach out to us. Go through the purchase list that Trinity sent out to buy your dongle and set up a meeting with our staff, and we can do that in any state. As far as SLPs and practitioners and reps that are on this call, we are doing this training to train them so that they can do it for their regions. And that will sort of depend on who's interested and who signs up to do that. And then they'll be able to do it for their community, even outside of ALS, in whatever regions they're in, but we don't know who that's going to be yet. It sort of depends who attends the training. I hope that clarifies. Great.
Another question, can we use this with other access methods, such as head tracking?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, we knew that question was coming up. So yes, you can. It can be used with any access method. Head tracking specifically, yes. And we haven't tested with a lot of things. I know like Antoinette Verdone was going to be testing with switch scanning. Definitely head scanning, head mouse for sure, probably switch scanning too. We don't see any reason that it shouldn't work with anything that works with any Windows control in any Windows control environment.
Right. Ashley has a question. Is it possible to resize the mirrored screen?
So, yes and no. Let's say mostly no. But what you can do is you can make the text larger on the iPhone, and that would enable someone who, let's say, needs bigger targets, or let's say wants to be able to see things a little bit better. They will be able to enlarge the icons and the text on the iPhone to make it significantly larger. One of the things I like to compare this to is if you can close a tab in Google Chrome, in the Google Chrome browser, then you can do anything in iPhone mirroring. Like it's like, and you probably can do it even if you can, do even less than that, but that's like a good way to measure like the size of the targets.
Malcolm, do you want to make a statement about iPads?
Yes. Okay. Yes. And it can be used. It's funny because I thought of that when I started answering, but I forgot about it by the time I finished.
Okay.
And yes, it can be used. You can mirror an iPad as well. And by mirroring an iPad, which is going to be in landscape mode, you can take up almost the entire screen of the eye tracker and then have a really, really almost complete iOS environment for yourself with all the safeties of the PC-based eye tracking. So that's like a very, very promising solution.
Okay. We have another question. What if a client uses crosshair scanning on iPhone with external switch? When mirroring, would the client be able to continue to use the crosshair scanning pattern?
Well, no, because if they'd have to, it has, in order to use the iPhone mirroring, you would have to initiate whatever access method you're using would have to be initiated on the PC. So, like I was saying before, so let's say you're using a radar in grid 3 to do some sort of Windows control with switch scanning, then you could do that by using the radar on grid 3 on the Windows side, and then that will allow it to control as if it's an external mouse on the iPhone. But you wouldn't be able to use it if the only way to access the iPhone would be through the crosshair scanning. Yeah, I think it's a completely positive yes, but we have to discuss how to set that up.
Oh, great. All right. Ashley would like to ask, so you said iPhone, you said iPad, and now she would like to know, how about a Mac?
About what, a Mac? No, not yet. I don't think. Um, uh, we didn't do it with a Mac. Um, we didn't do it with a Mac. I maybe would ask Bob if he thinks that would be possible. Probably it would be possible, but the bigger limitation there would be trying to get a Mac screen to be mirrored onto one of the eye tracking devices. I would imagine that it would be possible. But we would have to double check with Bob.
Okay. Bob, I saw you pop up. Do you want to answer this?
Sure, sure. I would say it's not something we've tested yet. And so we'd have to do a little bit of development to get the mirroring across from the Mac to the to the Toby, but there's not if we might that might be a next step thing for us. That might be. Yeah, it's not tech it's technically doable. We just haven't done it yet.
Ashley, maybe you should become good friends with Karina because she'll be the decision maker. Haha. Okay. Okay.
All right. Perfect. All right. Jason has a question. Is your services with this mirroring available to pals in Canada?
I'll
Yes.
take I'll take this one. So Jason, we would be happy to train you or your team to be able to provide this. I think on our soft launch, this is a big lift for our team, and we want to make sure that we do it right. So we're providing it to our current clients that are US based. We'd hope to expand that, but we are more than happy to provide the software and the training for free to you or anyone on your team that wants to be able to do this for your clients in Canada. So just email us if you'd like to join that training.
And the software, of course, will be available for free for everyone across the globe. Just the installation, that's where.
Yeah, it's just our team of 8 cannot do this for everyone across the globe, but that is why we're creating this open source so that people can, and providing the trainings for anyone who wants to be able to do it for their communities.
And we actually do have people on this call who have tried to do this completely on their own, and they have been very successful at plugging things in, following the easy step-by-step guide that we have, which is going to be available on our website. So you can do this without a doubt. All right. Alex says, what would be the easiest method for individual to scroll up and down? And any option to afford an automated directional swipe to scroll through the message, etc.
Okay, so that's what I was leaving my team viewer here open so I could show you that. Okay, Bob spent a lot of time optimizing scroll. Now my eye tracking isn't great, but I'll show you how it works. I'm going to go into Uber Eats over here.
I'm going to stop Naka before he gets too far into this. I want to make sure that you guys all know the Visor program that you are going to see when you do a download in the near future does not look like this. Malcolm has the older version, and you're actually going to have a newer version that makes things even prettier for you.
Okay, yeah, don't worry about that. So here I'm showing you, I just opened up Uber Eats with my eyes, okay? Now, let's say I wanted to scroll down. I can just put my TD control there in the center of the screen, and I can hit the scroll button. And now by me looking down, it scrolls down. Or if I look up, it scrolls up. I can do scrolling just as simply as I can do scrolling in any PC window. The same thing is for Grid and Windows Access, that you can use it to, you can use the scroll buttons and the scroll wheel functions that are available with Grid 3 and Communicator 5 Windows Access.
Malcolm, swipe was the other question that they had.
Okay, so swipe. There's a million ways to swipe. Okay, let's just say I'm going to show you in our program. We have this button, the home screen, to make it easier to get to the home screen. If my eyes can get there. Okay, so I just went home. We've put in for the home screen specifically. Let me get up there. One second. This little swipe here. No, I'm gonna get it.
Malcolm, do you need some assistance with proper positioning?
See that? You saw how by clicking yes. So Gary enjoyed that too much. Okay. So so those two buttons actually will do the swiping for you from our program. So you've got some very, very convenient buttons right there. You also can put the swipe functions into the assistive touch menus. So there are many, many ways to be able to simply swipe. And we also have, I'm not going into it because I don't want this to be like an advanced tutorial and everything, and we will make all of this information available, but we also have built-in macros, which will give you single button access to some complex thing you may want to do on your iPhone. So if you want to initiate a FaceTime call to a specific person, you can have a button in our software that's programmed, initiate FaceTime call to spouse. And then you can just start it without having to go through, 10 or 15 clicks. I hope that answered the question.
So the visor, that's kind of what you see is those macros. And that looks a little bit different on our new rollout. But all of those features and more, which you don't even see here, are going to be available, which is going to be wonderful. Karen asks, will assistive touch still work when the iPad or iPhone is mirrored?
Yes, 100%. And we actually still need assistive touch for a couple of things. One example would be if you wanted to do a long press on a message to delete it or to reply with a sticker. So for now, we're actually telling people to have the long press action in their assistive touch and use the assistive touch menu through our program to bring up the long press. So it's available and it's actually very useful.
All right. Ronaldo has a question, Malcolm. He says, how can we download the iOS control software? He says, I already have the dongle.
Oh, so if for ALS patients, you can just schedule a session with us. If you wanted to try it yourself, you just have to give us a couple of days till we get the software and the guide onto our website, but it won't be long. We're all using it already, but we just want to make sure it's perfect before we give it out. So
Rita and I want to jump in, Malcolm.
Yeah, let me just jump in. When Malcolm says it won't be long, since I'm the one that's getting it up on our website, let me say it will be 1 to 2 weeks before that website is live. So we're working on getting the website up.
Okay. And if you have, yeah, I'm gonna stay quiet.
If you have ALS, you need to reach out to us, info@bridgingvoice.org. If you're already a Bridging Voice client, reach out to the team member assisting you. If you don't know that person, info@bridgingvoice.org. If you do not have ALS, we need you to wait for that couple weeks to give Karina and our entire team a chance to catch up to Nahum, and get all of these things in place. And then you will be able to download the software at that time, which means it'll give you the time to get your Adafruit dongle, your bicycle mount, everything else. But I promise we will get it there for you. We know everyone is very excited about this. All right, other questions. Jen says, is it possible to connect more than one device at the same time? For example, to switch between a phone and an iPad on the same device.
Not yet. We're going to give Bob a really big headache if we ask for that, but it's possible to be done. But it's not possible now, and I don't know where that would be on the totem pole. So
Perfect. Ronaldo, you said that you are in Brazil. Remember, we do have clients in many different countries, so that is your location is not what is restricting you. Okay. All right. Barbara, where does one purchase the dongle and other needed equipment? I included that earlier, but some people have come in a little bit later. Let me go ahead and drop that again for you. And then please also remember that towards the later end of this week, and this part I can commit to this later this week or early next week, you will get a email with um, you will get an email with the link, the full video if you came in later, as well as the recommended equipment. You will have all of that. I just dropped it in again. Um, Gary has a very important question for Nahum. Nahum, do you need scleral lenses to improve your accuracy? High five, Gary Godfrey.
Alice. That was great. That was great.
All right. If anybody else has any other questions at this time and the chat is not accessible to them, I welcome you to turn your video on, turn your microphone on, whatever you need to do. We are welcome to all of the above for that. Anybody else has any questions?
I just want to give another big thank you to our tech team, Nahum, Bob, Devora. They've been working on this for almost 2 years. And we're just so excited to be able to bring it to our community. I also just want to thank so many people on this call who are early testers and giving feedback to really make this work well for our larger community. So thank you to all of you guys for testing out version and betas for the past year. So we're really, really happy to bring you the initial launch of this. Trinity, can we just remind everyone what they need to do to to get this?
Okay, first of all, attestation link is in the chat for those of you professional development would like that. So the things that you need, just to say it again, because we've had people come in late. Number one, Adafruit dongle. You need that. Okay. Number two, a lot of people already have one, but if you don't, you need a data cable. Okay. Both of these things are imperative, and you're going to know the difference if it's not a data cable or if it is a data cable, because when you plug it into your communication device, it's going to go da-dunk, da-dunk. So that's going to help you to know. Okay. Things that are recommended. Bicycle mount, which we have given you some ideas of bicycle mounts in the equipment to purchase, and you will also get that in your email. There's lots of them on Amazon. We did find, Eddie found for us that having one that has a little bit of a flexible handle so that you can get some positioning is nicer than one that's just straight mounted on the bar of your communication device mount. And you may also need a hub. So necessity, Adafruit dongle. Ronaldo, can you hold up your Adafruit dongle for me? Here it is. Thank you, Ronaldo. Adafruit dongle. USB cable are what you must have before you even schedule with us. Please, please, please get these first before you schedule with us. If you have ALS and you're already our client, reach out to your team member. If you are not our client, info@bridgingvoice.org. If you do not have ALS and are looking, but would still like this, give us a couple weeks and you will be able to find that on our website, www.bridgingvoice.org/iOS mirroring is that where it's going to be. You're going to be able to watch our social medias, our newsletter to know when it is live and ready to go. Okay. And if you are wanting to, if you are a practitioner or someone who is supporting people with ALS, uh, please consider signing up for the training next week on how to do installation so that you can support people. And you can get that by again, info@bridgingvoice.org to get to the practitioner training. Thank you all and those of you who came in early, thank you for joining us. It's amazing that we had over 100 people. We are going to get that fixed so that next time everyone, I think it is fixed now, everyone can join us. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful